So I think Spider something is his name. He made a Abzan company list with Chalice of the Void, Simian Spirit Guide, and the Gemstone Cavern package and Thalia. And I think that shell is very powerful. He's been having a lot of success with it in Taxes list. In fact, he's back on Taxes now. But there's a quick little blurb there where he tried out this deck, or a version of this. This one's a little bit different than his version. Oh, Muddy Creek. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Doom Train. So a version of this list. There's a couple things I didn't like with his list. There was no Scavenging Ooze main. There was 4 Thalias. I think I only want 3 Thalias in a list that has Company and Chord. Also, there was Azuri. And I know Azuri does protect Devoted Druid, but Azuri also only pumps Devoted Druid and doesn't really pump any other creature in the deck. So I'm going to with the Mirror Entity tech, which I think is just better. I know it costs white mana, and it's every once in a while that will be troublesome. We'll have infinite mana, but our win condition costs white, and our infinite mana is green, so that can be troublesome. But I think overall Mirror Entity is a more powerful card than Azuri in this list when we only run 4 elves. So all in all, I made a few changes here. Like I threw a Gideon in, added another trophy. I'm going for the full play set of Knight of Autumns in the side, because the burn matchup game 1 is not as good, I think. It depends on how strong Chalice of the Void is against burn. I think if you drop a Chalice on 2, I don't think as much burn can do against you. And a Chalice on 1, if you have a Chalice on 1 and 2, they pretty much get locked out. So it's the deck list. I'm open to a last-second recommendation for everybody. So I'll wait 30 seconds for the chat to pop in. A card I was thinking about was Magus of the Moon. Magus of the Moon could work decently well with Simian Spirit Guide and Gemstone Caverns to produce red mana, or you can Company or Chord for them, and that can kind of lock out some of the big mana decks and even blue-white control. This deck will mulligan either... This deck will not mulligan well. You're 2 for 1 yourself in so many cases where you need a lot of ways to catch up. I actually wanted to go with a full 4 E-Witness and 4 Bugler, but there just isn't enough room in the deck, unless I do like cut down to 2 Duskwatch Recruiters, which I thought about doing, but I think that I want to be able to try to turn 2 as often as possible. 4 Thalia, I just don't know about 4 Thalia in a list with Company and Chord. I could see the argument for 4 Thalia in the 75. Company Chord and Chalice, yeah. Convoke can pay for her tax, that's true. I just don't know what I would cut for the 4th Thalia. So one thing to note about this this mana base, without mana dorks, the mana base is actually a lot more painful. So I'm actually going with the full 4 Horizon Canopies and some Razor Verge Thickets here. But if you notice something with the list, there's only 1 black land in the entire list. It's 1 Overgrown Tomb. I think this list might get in a little bit of trouble against Field of Ruin, against Control, when we can get locked out of these 5 cards, or these 6 cards here. So, Miri, I do like the idea of the 4 Thalia. I just worry if it's not... if it's pulling the deck in a different direction. So, I want to cast a Druid on 2 if I can, or even a Druid on 1. Thalia on 1 can lock out some decks, absolutely. But I think I'd rather play Druid in almost every matchup. Card I'm actually excited about in the sideboard is Gideon again. I think he's overperformed, and this list has a lot of white sources with the 4 canopies, 2 Razorverge thickets. I'm a little worried that the mana base is going to be too painful. So if this was a druid, this hand would be a keep. Actually, if either of these cards were a druid, we could keep this hand. Okay. This just looks like a regular hand so far. And I'll put that on top for some redundancy. So far, this hand doesn't look any different than a typical Abzan company list. Looks like we're getting Death Shadowed here. It's either Shadow or Whir. Okay. This hand is very bad against Death Shadow. But Chalice on 1 seems pretty good against them. Sometimes I mull to 5. There was a whole league where, actually my 5-0 league, if you watch that on YouTube, the one that I recorded, the entire league, I don't think I had a single good company hit in the entire league. Obviously, I still got a little bit lucky to 5-0. You can't 5-0 league without a little bit of luck, but sometimes company just does not go your way. This deck actually is going to play a little bit worse company, I feel, without Kitchen Finks. I feel like Kitchen Finks is one of those cards I always want to company into. We'll see how good Bugler is here. If we were up against Tron, this would have been the perfect hand. If we were up against Tron, blue-white control, a lot of decks that are kind of shielded down for the first couple turns. Sure. So I don't have any need for black mana game 1, so I will not fetch a black land here. Opponent's got 5 cards in hand. I assume they're going to have more removal. Still think I grabbed the Druid. Core just doesn't do enough at the moment. If this was post-board, I might have grabbed the Cord. I don't know. This is a matchup where I feel like I'm going to miss Kitchen Finks a lot. Maybe it's just that it's been so comfortable for me to have that fallback. I'm not sure. So how was everyone's day today? Let me know. My day was pretty good. Did some raking, picked up my yard a little bit, played with the puppy. Any top deck removal will be very good right now, but I'm not mainboarding any removal. No blocks. If they have TBR, they have TBR. Yeah, got a puppy. This looks like snap push. So we're just dead. Not having Path Exile feels a bit awkward here. So normally in this type of matchup, I side out some Viziers and Druids, and I side in some grindy cards, and I try to win a grindy game. However, this deck list is very, very different. I'm not even sure that's correct here. Yeah, the puppy. Let me show you a picture. Not a very good picture, but that is one that is current as of 2 minutes ago. Just got it texted to me. That was her in the yard this morning. So I like Gideon. I like my trophies. I like Plaguecrafter. I like Scoos, Sin Collector, Postmortem Lunge. I like all of those. But I have 10 cards I have to cut here. Yeah, Plaguecrafter main in certain metas I think is perfectly fine. Thalia seems decent against Shadow here. I think I'll try this. I think not having Kitchen Finks this matchup's gonna be a lot different. Like this hand just doesn't do anything. Yeah, the puppy's super cute. My wife is training her to be a service dog for veterans with PTSD. So we'll have her for a little over a year, and then she'll be going to do some more training, and then she'll be helping people out. That was a nice draw. Easy peasy. Magus of the Moon was a card I talked about at the beginning. Callahan. I like the idea of it, especially with Simian Spirit Guide and Gemstone Cavern. I can kind of play it sometimes. I just don't know if it's perfect all of the time. Yeah, top deck hero. Absolutely. I'd rather be lucky than good. This is a Death Shadow deck running Tasigur. My only hope here is my opponent puts himself at low enough life total that Ballista can take care of him here. I only have one black land in my entire list, which I think is a mistake. I think the current list as it is right now leans a little bit too hard on Gemstone Cavern. That's fine. Ballista is probably the best take for them here. Don't know why they didn't do that before attacking. So I can put my opponent at 4. Have them attack with Death Shadow, ping them down to 3, and then I have no real way of killing them after that, so I think I just don't attack again. The problem with Death Shadow is, without a way to deal the last couple points of damage, I really just don't want to attack them further down. I mean, Magus is probably fine. Unless you're talking about the one black land. So I'll go to 4 here. I was dead to TBR, so I wasn't playing around it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not doing anything here. Any removal spells, and they win. So Snap didn't really do anything there. Unless they're playing around me having Path. Because Ballistic can kill the Snap coming in. That was quick. Quick 0-1 here. I really, really feel like this league is a test here with this to see how good Chalice of the Void is in Modern, and I haven't drawn it yet. I also mulliganed twice. Just this list is definitely a test. I do still, other than against is it Phoenix, I still think I want Kitchen Finks. So this list has a turn 1 Thalia. The question is turn 1 Thalia good enough? I even run 22 lands in this list instead of 21 to make up for the mana dorks a little bit. Does turn 1 Thalia actually do anything in this format? I don't think so. I think I want to be doing something unfair turn 1. Like, I want to do a turn 1 Chalice if possible. Yeah, I mean, I expected this deck to mulligan pretty poorly. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Island Pass doesn't tell me anything, so I'm not putting Chalice on 0. Turn 1 Thalia will smack Phoenix around. I just don't know if it would smack around what we're up against here. So I have a Druid on the bottom, so I'm going to shuffle my deck here to try to get Druid on top. And I think Chalice on 1 is more important than the Duskwatch here. Yeah. Yep. So I'll have to remember to watch out. I only have that 1 black source. So I have to wait. I don't really care about a game 1, but post-board, the 1 black source could be an issue. Hey Deuce, how's it going? Just bought my version in paper. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you for trying out my deck, for my baby. Glad you like the streams. Ruined Halo. I can't really think of a good thing to name against me here, to be honest. Ballista? Yeah. Okay, I'll kill you with Mirror Image. I'll let him flip. Our opponent's gracious enough to thin our deck here for us. Actually, the reason why I floated that green mana was in case of Scavenging Ooze. So we may have lethal just right here. Oh, actually they can't even cast it, so there's no point in doing anything there. Yeah, really kind of them here. So we have lots of mana. Oh, I should not have played the Windswept Heath. That was a punt. I should have played the Horizon Canopy, so I had one more draw. I'm not letting them know I have black mana, because there's really no need to yet. And easy peasy, we win. Why did I shave? I'm sorry, Andrew. I shaved because my facial hair went down to, it touched my lip, and I don't like feeling my lip in my mouth, and then like the inner part of my mouth. So I either had to trim or shave, and I chose to shave. All right. Should probably click a little faster here. I might be able to grow a beard in a day. We'll see. Okay, let's make a ton of mana. There we go. I'm gonna try. I'll grow the beard back. I mean, it's a winter, so I'm gonna grow it in and out pretty regularly. I know I can trim it. I mean, this is actually kind of just trimmed, right? Like I shaved, but it's already. I mean, I shaved this morning, so was it this morning? Time's an illusion that we all create, so we can live with and deal with our incoherent fate. Let's go Planet of the Apes. By the way, what is everyone's favorite Planet of the Apes movie? And anybody who says anything but the first one is just wrong. Remember that? You would be just wrong. So opponent was heavy on, so Knight of Autumn might actually be decent here with the Runed Halo. The Halo was on Ballista. Oh, that was already answered. I'm gonna Possum Butt. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at that point, I could have won with Scavenging Ooze. Planet of the Apes, the Phantom Menace. I approve of that. So what don't I like here? I kind of feel like this deck's actually better against control thanks to Chalice knocking out their paths. Like, I guess I'm not as confident sideboarding with this deck because I know what I would sideboard with my Finks list, and that's I would side out the Infinite Life combo because it's not that valuable. I'd side in removal and value creatures. But if I'm keeping in pretty much everything, what do I even side out here? Is Bugler the card I end up siding out? Because I'm not going to try to grind with my opponent. Like, that would just be a clear mistake. Post-mortem Lunge maybe isn't that strong in against a Path to Exile deck. I could buy that. Although being able to buy something back that was countered seems pretty good. I think maybe I didn't really see a Planeswalker, so maybe I'll cut the trophies and just run with Sin Collector, Gideon, and Plague Crafter. Although I guess Plague Crafter is pretty bad when they have Wall of Omen, so we'll go like that. I don't know if the turbo's good. So if I had a Simian Spirit Guide in my hand, this hand would be very good. The problem is unless I top deck a land, and I have 21 out of 53 cards to do so, this hand just does nothing. So I actually think I have to mulligan this. I like this. I get a turn 2 Gideon. Nope, I still need one more land. Alright, I draw a land, I get a turn 2 Gideon. Keep. 1, 2, 3, bam. Put on top. I will exile the Court of Calling. And I'm going to just try to win off of the back of a turn 2 Gideon. No one's going to expect the Turbo Gideon, right? I mean, if they counter it, I'm in pretty big trouble because I'm mulliganed to pretty much nothing for it. But our opponent is nice enough to not counter it. this is insane. We just got a turn 2 Gideon in play. And I feel like we're way behind. If they have an answer for Gideon, we pretty much just die here. I would, if I were my opponent, I would probably cry right now too. So let's rip a card from their hand. See what we're up against. Turn 1 Reality Smasher. That is insane. Alright, so I don't really care about negate. Right? So let's just take that Supreme Verdict. I also know that they can't do anything about me attacking with Gideon, which is probably the most important thing. So I'm just going to swing in with a big boy. Yeah, I don't think this is blue-white control. Wall of Omens, Restoration Angel. But they did run a board wipe, so it's a pretty big deal. So I think if I attack with Gideon, they're just going to Restoration Angel, blink the Wall of Omens. So I don't really see any value in attacking with them. If I attack with these guys, they're just going to block with the Restoration Angel. So I think I'll just make an ally. And I actually will play this land and pass. I'm not attacking. I don't want them to get any value out of Restoration Angel. Other than the free card draw. I know that they, I mean, unless they now have had 2 live draws without me seeing their hand. So, 3, sorry, with the Wall of Omens. So I think Gideon's kind of safe from a path, to be honest. Yep. So, I mean, I can just lose pretty quickly here. Oh, Sticks, thank you for falling 7 minutes ago. I'm blind. I'm completely blind here. Why would they bounce Gideon? I guess they have the negate. That's their line. But they had the answer to Gideon in play. I feel like that just wastes a card. Yeah, blind and shaved. I'm definitely a weird pirate. So, Sticks, thank you. Welcome aboard the Doom Train. Like, instead of putting me at 10, they could have just killed Gideon right there. Deaf, illiterate, dumb. You forgot dumb. But I sure do play a mean pinball. I feel like there's no reason not to make them use their path here. Sorry, their negate here. Yeah, they had path, so not attacking with Gideon was the right line. Their clock, they have a 4-turn clock on us, we have a 4-turn clock on them, but they get to attack first. So they're advantaged here. It would be nice if we didn't just flood out and draw like every land in the deck right now. Okay, we're getting clicked. Chalice on 3? Oh. To stop Kitchen Finks? I think I'm more afraid of them having spot removal here. Like, I think they got me. They're going to put me at 1. I think I just lose anyway unless I top deck exactly like a collected company. But I have no flying blockers because there's no birds in this list. So I really just need to top deck Ballista here. And that's not even enough. I can replay Gideon. Nope, I can't because I can't use Verdant. So yeah, it's just that's game. So far, I'll have to say, like, so my first my first run through with the list, I played against Hardened Scales, and I went game 1. They just had a turn 2 4/4 ballista, so I scooped. Game 2, turn 1, I dropped a Chalice on 0 to stop any 0 cost ballistas with scales out, and then a Chalice on 1, and opponent instantly scooped. In game 3, I dropped the Druid turn 1 and killed them turn 2. This is the hand I've been looking for, right? There's a lot of options with this hand. I'll keep it. So I can do like a turn 1 nothing. I can do a turn 2 Sin Collector. I can do a turn 3 Company. But I think the best thing here is just to do Chalice on 1. That way our opponent is locked out of Opt and Path for the remainder of the game. Well, not for the remainder. They're going to drop some Detention Spear or something like that. So I actually wouldn't mind drawing another land so I can Chalice on 2, potentially. And then just try to win with Collected Companies. Maybe? Well, either way, this is actually going to be a company. Mana Leak in a Path deck just feels so bad. I mean, you're ramping your opponent while running removal, basically effectively removal, counter spells that care about how much mana they have. Okay. I mean, that works. It's a good thing we have an Eternal Witness in our hand. This is why Eternal Witness is so good. Ooh. I think I go Druid. And next turn I can try to Ewit into Coco or something. Yeah, I don't. Chalice on 1 is so bad against Devoted Druid decks. I guess it stops like Noble Hierarch. It stops Birds of Paradise, but that's not really what we're trying to stop. Like that's just bad. Leaky Faucet. What's that mean? Counter draw, sure. Do I put a Chalice on 2 here? What are the other 2 drops they run? Snapcaster, Wall of Omens. Yeah, Mana Leak is a Leaky Faucet. I don't think I put a Chalice on 2 here right now because I think I want to top deck a Vizier. So I won't. I'll just pass. My opponent has very little pressure on me right now. But yeah, I think Chalice on 2 hurts me more. Well, this will be painful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can do a Chalice on 4. That stops my Coco. So I am just going to... Hope to top deck a Vizier and win the game. I feel like bringing in a Lyra is kind of a mistake against a combo deck, but it's doing some work here. I guess that their goal is to end the game as fast as possible. It's certainly going to do that, and it's certainly going to prevent me from winning fair. When this enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, enchantment, a planeswalker, and sacrifice the rest. Choose from among non-land permanents you control. Click Done to sacrifice the rest. So I'm choosing the ones I keep. I'm going to keep Druid and Chalice. So, yeah, it's game. Okay, we're 0-2 with the Chalice deck. What's everyone's thoughts so far? My thought, yeah, the 05 Dream. This has been a little rough. My thought so far is the deck doesn't mulligan well. The deck feels very powerful in the first 2 to 3 turns, and it doesn't top deck well. Yep. Yeah, Andrew, you did, and I'm agreeing with you 100%. So, I mean, this is the type of hand that is such a trap with this deck, because you look at it, you know, like, this has everything I could want. But I'm not trying to grind my opponent game 1. I can do a turn 1 Collected Company. Do you guys want to see a turn 1 Collected Company? Do I want to do a turn 1 Collected Company? I have to get rid of Duskwatch Recruiter. 1. So I'm actually going to keep Thalia on top and hope that that helps. So I know that I'm not going to whiff because at least there's a Thalia on top. It's over. It's over. It's over just like that. Okay. Wow, I was really excited about the idea of this deck, and so far it is just pooping on itself. I mean, I wanted a deck that can go toe-to-toe with Phoenix. I wanted a Druid deck that can combat Phoenix. And so far, this deck hasn't done it. I feel like if you run hot with this deck, you're going to do well. But if you don't, and we have not run hot this league, we have not run hot at all. I mean, I'm mulliganing pretty much every hand, right? But if you didn't have to mulligan every hand, I feel like if you could do a turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Druid, turn 3 combo, every game, then you're just going to run through a league. You're going to 5-0. You're going to top 8, and you're going to do well. But any sort of variance, any bad shuffling, I mean, we had a turn 1 collected company, and if they had a Simian Spirit Guide, I would have said, okay, you know what? We'll draw into a land, and we'll do it then. Nope. Sorry, if they had an Inquisition of Kozilek, they would have taken a Simian Spirit Guide instead of a... But man, the Thoughtseize, turn 1 Thoughtseize. I do like Sin Collector against Black-Green midrange, but I don't have much to cut here. I feel like this deck doesn't grind as well because it doesn't have the Kitchen Finks Gavany Township angle. So without that, without the Path Exiles, I feel like I need to get a quicker combo. So siding out a bunch of cards, I feel like, is actually pretty bad here. I'm not going to 5 against a Thoughtseize deck, so we'll just do this and pass. Hey, Greenwalk. What do you mean it seems like most other good decks? Because what I was trying to say was I feel like this deck is much higher variance than our traditional Coco decks. If I was playing the Finks list, I feel like I would have crushed Grixis Death Shadow. I feel slightly favored against them. I feel like with my Finks list, I feel very good against Green-Black. Maybe like 55. Or maybe just even. I just have gotten pretty lucky. And against that weird control deck, or blue-white mid-range deck, I feel like we do pretty well there. Not having access to Path to Exile has been relevant in all 3 matchups so far. Oh, yeah. In an ideal world, this absolutely would... I mean, every deck... I mean, I feel like green-black decks don't really say that. Like, in an ideal world, you know, they're just like, well, we can handle any type of threat, except top decks. It's fine. So again, one thing to note is I only have 1 black land here. So against Field of Ruin, this could be a little rough because I did not hit a Gemstone Cavern to start the game. So the other Chalice turn 1 deck I was intrigued with, besides Eldrazi Stompy, is the Thalia Stompy deck. So this is awkward, right? Like I can't cast Collected Company. Opponent swings. Let's say they Grogoyf and Tracker at 7, put me at 8. I think I'd rather hope that they miss a land so Thalia can kill Tracker. I just don't think their life total matters that much at the moment. I'm heavily intrigued with Thalia Stompy deck because that deck runs the Eldrazi, so your top deck is Reality Smasher instead of Devoted Druid. Like, if you're playing a deck that doesn't mulligan well, has a bunch of crap it can draw, then you really, really want... I think our opponent just punted here. We could win the game right on our untap. Good Coco hit, and the game's over. So Thalia Stompy deck, it top decks... Ooh. It top decks Eldrazi, where this deck just top decks combo pieces. So I can actually shrink Goyf quite a bit here, because our opponent might forget that Devoted Druid can untap. But if Devoted Druid does untap, then it can die to Lily. So my goal here is to have my opponent kill my Eternal Witness here, right like that. Then go to combat. I can actually untap Devoted Druid, get 3 green mana, eat 3 creatures, and have Scoos be a 5/5, shrink Goyf down to a 2/3. Untap and have go at Collected Company to have one more shot before my Druid definitely is dead to last hope. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued by Thalia Stompy, to be honest. I'm heavily intrigued by it. And now I'm seeing, like, if this deck runs hot, I think it's unstoppable, but I don't like decks that you need to run hot to win with. So I can make Scoos a 5/5, but they can make Trekker a 5/5. So I think I just don't block here and just start eating the graveyard fairly. We had our shot. We had that Collected Company to win the game, and we didn't draw it. Okay, let's roll the dice. Vizier. There we go. Good game, opponent. I didn't side up Ballista, did I? Let me guess, I actually sided him out this time. Nope. Good. At the very least, even if I didn't have Ballista in hand, I was still going to cast another Coco, draw a bunch of creatures, and play them all. And just hope my opponent didn't also eat all the graveyards, and hope my opponent didn't top deck a Languish. Hey, we're doing something here, people. So we only have 2 attackers, so that actually isn't even lethal. There we go. So what is everybody's favorite type of soup? I want to know your favorite type of soup. And I will count chowders. I'll also count a stew. And Callahan, I absolutely agree. In an ideal world, Phoenix wouldn't exist. I think Phoenix is on a power level that is a little bit too high. And the reason being is entirely based on the power of Thing in the Ice in Modern. I've always felt that Thing in the Ice is just waiting to get broken. I used to play a Pyromancer Ascension Thing in the Ice list, and it was really, really good. It was basically like a mock Storm deck. It didn't run Grape Shot, ran just Bolts and Burn and Thing in the Ice. And that could just end people's day. But being able to flip Thing in the Ice the turn after you play it, and it's basically just a Death Shadow. So you're running the modern equivalent of Brainstorm and Faithless Looting, which just fixes your hand. You're running a Death Shadow with haste and a free evacuation on it. 2 mana 7/8 is a pretty big deal. Chicken noodle soup is great. It's what my doctor prescribed me when I was feeling sick when I was a little kid. Chicken gnocchi? It's a G silent, right? Gnocchi. Chicken gnocchi soup. I haven't had that, but sounds good. Isn't that like the gnocchi's like the little raviolis, right? Lobster bisque is such a rich man's food. That's such a rich man's food, Muddy Creek. And I say that also enjoying it. When I worked at the restaurant, the Cock and Kettle in Uxbridge, we used to make a lot of lobster bisque and, just have a spoonful here and there because it was pretty darn good. Yeah, Thing in the Ice is just busted. When Modern is finally get to a point when you get a second reason to run Thing in the Ice, which was Phoenix. Let's see. This hand's fine, right? Turn 2 Druid, infinite mana. They're going to disrupt it, but what are they going to take, the Chalice or the Druid? If they disrupt me, I have Bugler to refill my hand. No chi. So I'm going to use this to get an Overgrown Tomb. I would have used it to get a Temple Garden, but I drew a white source. Yeah, Joe is rich. Oh, whoops. Autopilot there. Let's hope I don't draw a black spell. So I actually am inclined to do Chalice here instead of Druid. I think it's the whole point. I think my opponents can have a Fatal Push or a Thoughtseize, so I think locking them out of that is more important than letting Druid die. Might be wrong here. I could Chalice for 88, but I think the winning number would be to Chalice for 69. Just saying. Or Joe. Joe would want to maybe Chalice for 420. Maelstrom Pulse my Chalice. Makes me think I made the right play. So I'm going to do it again. I can't believe no one thought like Minestrone. No one says Minestrone is their favorite soup. I feel like Minestrone is like the most average of soups you could ever ask for. What could I get you, kind sir? A nice minestrone. But you gotta like twirl your mustache and say minestrone. Something like that, right? I just lost 7 viewers. No minestrone. So if they don't have an Abrupt Decay or an Assassin's Trophy, I think we're in a pretty good spot here. I get to dig pretty deep with the Cocoa, and then I get to dig deep with 1 Bugler as well, since I have an extra white source. So I think I'm just going to Cocoa. Plaguecrafter seems really good here. Eternal Witness does also, but Eternal Witness won't actually be buying anything. I think I'm going to go Druid and Plaguecrafter, make them sacrifice one of their creatures. Now I'm just going to sacrifice Plaguecrafter. So Ewit just couldn't buy it. Ewit really wasn't getting me much other than the company, and I already had another company and 2 Buglers in hand, so I feel like I'm going to grind him out well enough. Like if they only have Fatal Pushes in their hand, right, and they can't cast, if they can't kill Druid and Vizier, then I think I just win. If I can't hit a way to win digging 14 deep, then I probably don't deserve to win. Well, I didn't get it anyway. So Chalice actually feels pretty sweet here, I'll be honest. I have no desire to block with Vizier. I'm definitely going to block with Thalia. Rally the Siege Rhino. Yeah, I mean, I can't do Chalice on 2 because then I just die. Bugler number 1. What's behind this door? Nothing good. Let's do a Coco next. I wonder how many dead cards are in my opponent's hand. Okay, so I can attack with 2 creatures that are very, very large. Just to be safe, though, I feel like it's worth playing Bugler. Okay. Opponent scooped. We win. Everybody, we did it. And I don't know how important Chalice was there. I feel like it was pretty important, but was it better than Kitchen Finks? In that matchup, I think I'd rather have Kitchen Finks most of the time. I'd rather have Kitchen Finks and Path to Exile. It was Grixis, Death Shadow, and blue-white midrange. I mean, Chalice has been relevant every game. It is the problem is we've been mulliganing a lot. That's kind of what this deck does, right? Like, look at this hand, right? This is crap. I can do a turn 2 Chalice, and then what? I like this hand a lot. I get to do either a turn 1 Thalia or a turn 1 Chalice. Put a land on top so I can get to Collected Company. Yeah, this hand seems pretty sweet. What do you guys think? Blademan 69er likes it. Still can't believe he recommended a different number. Like, you can Chalice on 88. Come on, Blademan. 69's in your name. Could this be Phoenix? You guys, I think this might be Phoenix here. I have to get a plains here. Oh, yeah, London Mulligan would bust this deck wide open. London Mulligan is a stupid, stupid rule. Super Saiyan Chris, you're saying that this is just guy control? I mean, so far they just bolted and gut shot at us. I think this is it. No matter what, I'm shocking because next turn I'm playing Bugler, so I might as well lose 1 less life this way. You do have to throw a curveball 1 every 69 times. Okay, so we can not cast Collected Company. That's awkward. Isn't that weird, everybody? Like, we just can't. Like, I would have Simian Spear guided right there, but Thalia is painful. Okay, so we draw a land. We can play. Yeah, I think that 3 Thalias is probably correct because of Collected Company. Wow. Andrew, are you watching this? You just see this? Everybody in the Discord, everybody on YouTube who's also in the Discord, this is why we were testing Chalice. It was for this matchup. I have nothing on the board. I have 4 power on the board, but we win. So I think we actually might get better. I mean, they don't even know we're a company deck. They just think we're green-white taxes. This is cool. This is so cool. I'm excited. Woo! All right. By the way, I fully expect Ron, I don't know if he's on here right now, to find that clip of me doing that weird noise and to clip it. It's definitely clippable. Postmortem Lunge is for this matchup, isn't it? I just don't... I can't, like, side it in. Like, it's painful. Like, what do I side out here? This deck list is not... I feel like it's a trap. Like, I still want turn 1 Chalice, so Simian Spirit Guide has to stay. I guess Eternal Witness and Bugler, like my grind options, are the cards that start getting cut. I don't think it's just the Chalice. I think it's also the Gemstone Caverns and the Simian Spirit Guides. But, yeah, I guess we could try running Chalice and just drop like a turn 2 Chalice instead of a Druid. That's actually a pretty good idea, Miri. Huh. Is a turn 2 Chalice good enough? Or does it have to be a turn 1? I think I'm actually going to cut Mirror Entity. Oh no, Mirror Entity is kind of for this matchup. Chords are coming out. Probably all 3. I actually think I'd want another Knight of Autumn over a chord here. Or maybe a Plague Crafter. Yeah. Let's run this. I don't like free win red. I think I'd play this over it. I actually think Thalia Stompy is probably the correct answer. Thalia Stompy, like I said, the problem with this deck is that it top decks poorly. This deck is top decking Thalia. This deck is, well, not Thalia. This deck is top decking Vizier, Devoted Druid. Ugh. They're terrible top decks, right? When you could be top decking Reality Smasher. I guess we have 8 possible good draws with Thalia and Chalice. I just don't know if this hand is good enough. Turn 1 Chalice, that's what we want, and I'll put a land on top to get the company. Chalice is my looting, yeah. I mean, this hand is pretty terrible, right? Like, if I objectively just look at this hand, I have a turn 1 Chalice, and then I'm waiting to draw into play Collected Company, because Walking Ballistas does nothing here. I mean, if they have a Spell Pierce up, then this entire hand collapses. Yeah, this is definitely spicy. I just don't know if it's good enough. And who knows? Maybe we win this match, win the next one, we end up 3-2ing the league after a 0-2 start. Maybe that's what we do here. You know, let's hope that's what we do here. So, yeah, I didn't sell. If Sal was a Coco hit. Ooh, Mana Tide would be spicy. So, this is our opponent's turn. They have not disconnected. They're just chilling. They're probably really, really upset. They're playing this green-white taxes deck when, surprise, walking Ballista. That's actually a really good question for this deck. Is this deck better than green-white taxes? Like a green-white taxes deck that runs Chalice of the Void. The inspiration for this deck, the creator of the guy who 5-0'd playing Chalice of the Void with a devoted druid list. So I'm walking into Spell Pierce here, but I still feel like I have to do it. Like if they don't have Spell Pierce, then yeah, okay. Yeah, I think green-white taxes with this element in it might just be better. Might. Because Leonin Arbiter is a pretty scary card. Okay, so they can still flip Thing, so we still lose to that. So let's play Scavenging Ooze and Cry. I have no access to black mana, so even if I draw a removal spell, it doesn't matter. So my best hope is to draw a land and turn 4 Company into Plaguecrafter. Yeah, if I only had a bridge. And this is how people make prison decks. When you force asymmetrical effects that are not asymmetrical. Man, I feel pretty good here sitting on a Chalice on 1, to be honest. I don't anymore. I got a Mirror Entity that doesn't flip, but I need 1 more mana for Scavenging Ooze to not flip. Yep. Well, I guess we can expect a Braid. That's something. But if we're playing the Finks list, we're going to be crushed game 1 and then bring in the Chalice to win game 2. And then they bring in a Braid to beat us game 3. We're thinking. Let's play Eidolon, and then we'll block with the Mirror Entity and pass, drawn to a land for Eclectic Company. Yeah, I mean, there's probably 2 or 3, but Chalice is really rough for their deck. Nope. Mirror Entity's gotta die. Sorry, dude. Eidolon is a little more important right now. Oh, well, in that case, I think we're just dead. Let's see here. So they're going to put me at 1 life. If I don't block, so they have a gut shot, yeah, they win. I wasn't even drawing something useful, so. Alright. I'm going to try my Duskwatch Recruiter here. Nope. I think I have to keep this. I don't want to mulligan to 5. Yeah, as soon as Chalice is gone, we were dead. I'll keep this and hope a turn 2 Thalia is enough. And when Thalia dies, I'll be able to Coco. Seems fair, right? Turn 2 Thalia, turn 3 Mirror, turn 4 Company. That's my game plan. Yeah, and I'm running 22 lands, and I feel like I've mulliganed a lot. Looking for that extra land. I'm gonna be right back. My drink cup is empty. Did we die? Yeah, I think I'd run out Mirror Entity just naked, just to put them in play. If they have a gut shot, they have a gut shot, but I imagine they're going to gut shot Thalia over Mirror Entity anyway. Yep, there we go. There's the gut shot on Thalia. So, drawing the extra company, I actually think I'm just going to play Vizier here and not fetch. Just have one more land I could hit. Because I have 19 lands left of the deck with 4 Simian Spirit Guides. That's 23 out of 52. So it'll be 22 out of 52 if I fetch. So it's slight different odds, but I think it's important there. Super Saiyan, you called it. You called it. I really don't like the way Thalia and Collected Company have worked together. Like, there's been a few times where I'm like, oh, I can do Company on 4. I can't cast Collected Company. What do you do then? Yeah, I mean, I think we're just dead. We haven't seen a bolt yet. 2 bolts and we're dead. Maybe they'll be stupid and bolt our Vizier. Rest in peace. I mean, let's put it this way. If this deck is not beating Izzet Phoenix, then I don't think it's worth playing this deck. If the whole point in trying Collected Company with Chalice is to beat this matchup, and I still don't feel favored here, then maybe there's something going on. I mean, granted, the 2 games I got a Chalice out, I felt a lot better, but... Okay. So we're just actually dead, right? because I have no flying blockers, and no life gain. The 1/4 dream lives on. What's FWR? Chris, what's FWR? Oh, free win red. Okay, yeah. Free win red beats Phoenix, but it might possibly be the most boring deck you could ever play. Like, if you have no desire to have fun, then play free win red. I'm on the play. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep either turn 2 Thalia or a turn 2 Chalice. We'll see how strong a turn 2 Chalice is. I mean, I feel like only if you don't like your opponent is that the case. Okay, so this is control. So I'm going to drop the Thalia. The next turn I'll drop the Chalice. And they won't have enough mana to mana leak. How do Thalia and Chalice work together? Do they make it so people can cast one CMC spells? I don't think Thalia changes the CMC. Let me know, chat. Let me know that interaction. Oh, whoops. Thalia certainly affects my Chalice play. Like, I feel like they would never be played together if that was the case. Okay. Thank you, guys. Just reading it's a little awkward. So I can chord for Druid. No, I can't because of Thalia. Hashtag Thalia ruins everything. Yeah, Chord Calling being in my hand just feels terrible with a Thalia in play. Yeah, I like the way Thalia and EE work together. I'm not playing an Eternal Witness to buy back a land, even if it does double my clock. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I think this deck is much better in a shell where you're top decking, like I keep saying, individually powerful cards. When you're a deck that mulligans frequently to try to get a turn 1 lock, I don't think you want to be mulliganing to a low hand and then your win condition is a 3 card combo when you're already mulliganing low with Chalice. Good news is I've drawn so many lands this game, if I top deck a company, I can cast it under Thalia. That is the good news. Not being able to cord for Druid feels a little awkward here. Okay. I do think I want to Eternal Witness. Get back the Canopy, though. Canopy's worth rebuying, I feel. Okay. I'm completely fine with that. I spent 3 mana, they spent 3 mana. That's one less removal spell for a collect, or counter spell. It's basically a removal spell for a spell. One less for Collected Company. Oh, Gemstone is legendary. Yep. Well, unless they kill Thalia, I cannot cast Collected Company. So that was a punt. Punt counter 2. I think I'm on 2 now. Hey, Andrew, you sign in right, or you jump back in right when I make a huge punt. Did you catch the beginning of the Is It Phoenix matchup? It was beautiful. Unfortunately, we lost because this deck mulligans like crap. And Is It Phoenix is so versatile. If they don't kill you, game 2 they kill us with Thing in the Ice. Game 3 they kill us with Phoenix and who is Johnny Hector? And I'm sorry I'm failing you, Andrew. I was like, oh, why don't I play my other Gemstone Mine instead of my Overgrown Tomb, save myself 2 life in a matchup where my life total doesn't matter. Yeah, when this list runs hot, it's fun. Like when I beat Scales in my test match, it was pretty fun. Oh, what team is Johnny Hecker for? The Thalia Stompy deck I feel like is the same, except Thalia Stompy doesn't have the issue with Thalia hurting the payoff spells. The payoff spells here are Collected Company and Cord. The payoff spells in the Eldrazi deck are the Eldrazi creatures, which Thalia doesn't hurt. So when you're top decking, like, I can't cast Company here, and that's just painful. 1, 2, 3. I can actually, I'm just going to pass here because I can Cord for Druid now. Right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, Thalia attacks. Yeah, that's Thought-Knots here is way better against Phoenix. So our opponent's tapping out for soldier tokens. Sure. And we have infinite mana. LA Rams. I feel like I should have known that because I just got an itchy cheek right here. To be fair, I think our control opponent thought they were up against a Taxes deck. To be fair, I'm also probably going to play Chalice on 4 after I Coco to see what's going on. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not going to play my second Thalia. I remember legendary creatures. Just non-creatures are a bit weird. I'm even going to remember to pay 5 mana for this company, which is just enough to win the game. I have a feeling our opponent's going to make us go through the entire combo, Ballista and all. What's the over-under on that, guys? I'm just going to say, who says yes? They're going to make me do it. I think they will. I have 1, 2. I can't actually get through those soldier tokens. That was a waste to pick up. My goal is to be completely done here before I get to 1938. That's a minute and 7 seconds. Let's see. Then I'll be tied with clock my opponent, and I can say, opponent, why'd you make me tap so much? You guys want me to wipe the soldiers? I'm going to send a message. Absolutely. Let's make a big boy. Make it a little bit bigger. Why haven't they conceded? Because people don't concede online because they think that I'm a combo deck, and either their lines of thinking are either I should be punished for it, or that I'm going to clock myself. But our opponent's playing a control deck, and they've used pretty much just as much clock as we have. So should I just make him bigger and start pinging myself just for no reason here, because just waste some time? I'm inclined not to because that's boring as heck. And I don't like clicking. Okay, I killed some soldiers there. Yeah, I don't like clicking. I also play the Amulet Titan. I also play Amulet Titan online. So what's that say about me? What's bad here? Again, I feel like Bugler is just underperforming, right? Anyone else feel like Bugler just doesn't do anything here? Yeah, that'd be really good. I'm glad you're enjoying this, Callahan. I just wish I liked Chalice more right now. Like, I feel like this deck can't sideboard because it's two decks merged into one. So it wants a sideboard, and when am I going to be sideboard Chalice out? There hasn't been a single matchup where I would. I could bring in lunges, but what do you take out? Like, that's a big problem I've been having with this deck so far. I mean, let me know, those of you on YouTube, let me know in the comments. Hey, you punted here. You should have sided in this card, you big dummy, or whatnot. I don't know. It's got turn 1 Chalice. I feel like turn 1 Chalice should buy me a little bit of time, right? Yeah, this like, I'm used to decks that get better after sideboard. and I just don't feel like this deck does. Yeah. Well, I wasn't afraid of Spell Pierce there. Mana Tithe would have been pretty sweet, though, huh? Mana Tithe might have completely wrecked me there. So, I'm not going to care about my life total here. Look, you want to Mana Leak this? Go ahead, opponent. So I'm agreeing with you 100%, Andrew, and I agree with you 100%, Callahan. This deck feels like it wants to do too much. I'm glad I'm testing it here. I wish the test went better. The mana base is also super painful because you need more white sources because of gemstone. Well, take the Terminus. Opponent's hand is Opt, Jace, Path, and Teferi. Miri's Legend, welcome aboard to the Doom Train. Glad to have you. I think this Chalice is locking our opponent out because they're not cantripping. I mean, all they need are 2 lands, and then they can start, they can Teferi, get rid of our Chalice, and start going off from there. But the good news is we're swinging for 10 next turn, thanks to Mirror Entity. You need a mono green commander? I don't know, I'm probably not the person to talk commander with. I see no reason not to just swing for a lot here. Yeah, I'm just swinging for a bajillion and win this game. I like Sylvala a lot. Why green? I mean, if you're green, it should be Azusa, right? Okay, so we didn't beat Phoenix. Which the whole point of Chalice was to beat Phoenix. So, what do you guys think? Let me know your overall thoughts on the deck. Do you guys think that the deck has potential? I know Andrew's overall opinion, I 100% agree, is that the deck is too swingy. It tries to do too many things. It has too many interactions that just hurt it. I like the idea of Chalice. Chalice is remarkable. Yep, it's 2 decks doing 2 different things. I think this deck is just a worse either Thalia Stompy or Green-White Taxes. I think if instead of Collected Company and Chords, we are running any actual threat that wasn't a non-creature spell. Bugler was actually one of the original draws to me for the deck, to be honest. In theory, I was like, oh, Bugler can provide so much value. He just doesn't. He just doesn't do much. He's just like, he's a 2/3 vigilance. He feels so much more oppressive when you're playing humans. When he gets you a Phantasmal Image or another Meddling Mage. Chalice in the board might be fine, to be honest. Have to check it. Yeah, this deck just... so a prison deck, generally, the whole point of a prison deck is you want to lock your opponent out turn 1 and then eventually drop something that just ends the game. Devoted Druid doesn't end the game. Devoted Druid requires more cards to end the game. And this deck's already mulliganing hard to get a Chalice lock. So I just don't know if that's good. I mean, we almost cast a turn 1 company. That alone is exciting. Hey, Garrett. Yeah, I just think this is a worse version of 2 decks. I do like the idea that Bugler has so many hits because Simian Spirit Guide is technically a hit, and Collected Company has extra hits because Simian Spirit Guide is technically a hit. So you're not actually losing that many company hits. Yeah, this mana base is not correct. I mostly copied Spider's mana base. I made a couple tweaks, like I think it's changed some fetches and shocks around a little bit. I noticed he only ran 1 black source, and I was a little weirded out by it. Then I remembered that Gemstone is technically a black source. I think we only actually did that once, the whole league. That doesn't seem right. Like, I feel like we had some bad variance here when we had to mulligan a lot. Pretty much the games we didn't mulligan, we won. Which is kind of how Magic goes sometimes. Yeah, I think when I first looked at it, I was saying Plague Crafter, Sin Collector, and Trophy add so much of the deck. But they just don't. Thalia and Trophy don't get along. And that was super awkward because the decks that Thalia does best are the decks that I want Trophy. I want Trophy. I want Thalia against Tron. I want Trophy against Tron. I want Thalia against Blue-White. I want Trophy against Blue-White. And I want both against Phoenix. Chalice is so hot. Chalice is so powerful. I mean, Chalice on 1 just is maybe one of the best things you've been doing in the format right now. Yeah, we invested every single resource into a turn 2 Gideon, and I believe we lost that game. We dropped a turn 2 Gideon, and we lost the game. Mostly because our opponent had flying creatures to kill us with, but and they basically gained 8 life off of those, more than 8 life off those Wall of Omens. If you have what? If you have Chalices? I think... What do you guys think? Do you want to see... Like, do you want to keep chesting Chalice in Abzan, but over here? Abzan Traverse? Is it Abzan Traverse time? I promised you some more of that, Andrew. I didn't know when you wanted it, though. So, Callahan, what are you saying yes to? All right. I'm going to take a 90-second break. You guys let me know. You guys vote, and I will do what the highest vote is. I absolutely promise, Andrew, you're going to get your Abzan Traverse this week, though. Whenever, we'll work out a time if it isn't right now. So the options are Thalia Stompy. I'm going to have to buy some pieces. Abzan Company, a normal Finks list, maybe some Chalices on the side. Abzan Traverse, which I'll make the tweaks to completely match Andrew's list. Or something else. I'll be right back. I'm back! Okay. Let me look through. Abzan 1. Coco 1. Flip Liliana. Ooh, okay. Abyssal Nocturnus. So that is a card I have to look up. Whenever an opponent discards a card, gets +2/+2 in fear. Wait, is that until end of turn? Yeah, until end of turn. That's actually not very good. I don't think it's very good. It's if it would got like +2/+2 counters, that'd be amazing, but it doesn't. So I don't like Ruined Halo. Let's say we stop Thing in the Ice, right? Then we still die to, as we saw in the last matchup, if you stop, you either die to Thing in the Ice, or you can die to Phoenix, or you can die to Drake. They have so many ways of killing you. They can kill you with Pyromancer, Ascension. I've had the Jace. I don't think it does enough. Okay. So we get all the votes in. If we brought in Chalice, that means we're probably taking out paths, right? Like let's just do a theory craft here. If we put in Chalice in the sideboard of this deck, right, my Finks list, where we'd have to cut Path to Exile. We're not gonna like Chalice is for so many decks. I mean, Path is too, which means we can probably trim an Eternal Witness. Hey, Entrails. We 2-3'd. Not very good. We lost to Phoenix. We won game 1 against Phoenix with the Chalice lock, and they were ready with a Braid after that. We stood. The deck, the general consensus we came to is that it's not that good. It is 2 decks mixed into one. That's Andrew's opinion. I 100% agree with him. It's trying to do too many things. It mulligans really hard for Chalice, turn 1 Chalice or turn 1 Thalia. And then it doesn't top deck well because it's a combo deck. Thalia had a lot of resistance against Cord and company and even the trophies in the sideboard. The deck could use some tuning, but I think it's just a worse version of what it could be. I don't like it for the mana base, but we'll try it. I can't see how we'd fit Chalice into this list. Do you guys? Like, in all honesty, I would have to cut the paths, which would make me worse against a lot of other stuff. Hey, Juggernauts. Thank you very much. Thank you for your Twitch Prime subscription. That's awesome. For those of you that have Amazon Prime, it's at the top right. You can subscribe, and it costs you nothing, but it makes me smile and makes me say, thank you very much. So thank you, Juggernauts. That's awesome. I don't like a Godless Shrine here. I have too much green. I think the Godless Shrine I think Godless Shrine's a trap. On my original list, way back, way back, had a Godless Shrine. It was actually one of my. Once I cut it, I started doing better with the list. So I would love to test Chalice here. I feel like we need at least 3 Chalices to really do anything, but for a test league, we definitely probably need 4. I love the idea of a Chalice against Phoenix, though. I think it's the best bet we have against them. If someone has suggestions on how we can throw Chalice in here, I'll try it right now, as long as it's an idea I feel comfortable with. So we want Chalice on 1. Chalice on 1 stops Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Fatal Push, Opt, Serum Visions, Looting, Ether Vial, and Ancient Stirrings, Expedition Map. It stops a lot. Chalice on 2 kills us. I don't want to do Chalice on 2. I think what we just learned in the last league, Chalice is so independently powerful that if we can somehow cheese out a Chalice, we can win. I don't want to build a deck. The league we just ran, for reference and trails, because you just jumped on. This is the list we just ran. I don't want to run a league where I don't want to run a deck where the entire deck is built around turn 1 Chalice, or turn 1 Thalia, and then you're mulliganing for that, and you're drawing so much air. I like the grind package that Finks provides. I like that play style, I like the feel, I like all of that. Just throw shit out. I'm not throwing the dorks out. I think the dorks are too important. And then they're so important with the mirror entity plan. I don't know. How's this? In the Discord this week, we will have a thought process, and we will try to figure out if we can put it, what we'd replace, how we'd build the deck to put Chalice in. A card I'm very interested in is Gemstone Mine. I feel like that card, if we can hit it, overperforms. Oh, I'm sorry, Andrews. Is anyone else having a bad signal here? So I'm going to run with the Liliana here.